Today on Toyshiz, a very special episode where we find out what happens when a Batman can finally turn his head. Heyo, welcome back everyone, Toyshiz here, and we are back yet again for an exclusive DC Multiverse reveal in conjunction with my friends over at McFarlane Toys. We have 3 new figures, one of which we already knew about, but him aside, we got 2 new ones to talk about, and I got all the deets on where you'll be able to pick one up for yourself coming soon. Now, first and foremost, we have Christian Bale Batman from Batman Begins, and I absolutely loved that movie. Just as a standalone, if they never continued it, it would have been fantastic. But what's a Batman reveal without at least one Batman? On the side of the box, of course, Batman Begins. On the back of the box, you got that really cool old school poster art with the names of the actors on it, which is really weird. Here's the barcode, and like I said, this figure will go everywhere. Now, of course, there will be a gold label exclusive for this Batman Begins Batman, and it's namely the Demon Batman. So gold label Target store exclusive, just FYI. Here's the barcode. You'll be able to find this guy in store. I can't tell you whether or not it's going to be online to pre-order. It's going to be kind of up in the air, but it will be in store, just FYI. And then, of course, there is going to be a Platinum Edition Jonathan Crane, Cillian Murphy, Scarecrow from Batman Begins, and it's his suited body. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. It is a red Platinum Edition, which means it's a Platinum of a character that doesn't have an opposite. It's just gonna be out there. It's like The Question. Remember that whole thing, Shining Knights, effigy? You know what I'm talking about if you're collecting DC Multiverse, of which I'm just gonna say it because I know you're all thinking it. If only these two would have just swapped places, probably would have been a lot better off, right? Again, the side of the box, Scarecrow, Batman Begins. The back side of the box has some artwork, I guess. And here's the barcode for when this Scarecrow starts to hit stores. Now, here's the thing. These will be out towards the end of February into March. And as I say that, I am sure that you'll probably find those a lot sooner. Like I said, they're part of the new Batman Begins wave. I can't tell you if there are going to be other figures in this set or not, but Batman Begins as a standalone will be everywhere. The Demon Knight Nightmare Batman will be a Target gold label exclusive, and then the Scarecrow will go everywhere that the wave goes, so you can find him in store. It's going to be in store. It's not going to be available online. That's how the Platinums go. We all know this by now, so it should be of no shock to you. But in the meantime, we're going to have an absolute blast checking these out. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is an exclusive reveal of 3 brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures from Batman Begins. All right, so we'll kick things off with the Christian Bale Batman from Batman Begins. If I'm being honest, if I saw this on the toy shelves, I would say, yeah, that is the suit. It's kind of like Darth Vader. You really have to look at movie stills in order to get a good idea of what you're looking at in terms of what they made for an action figure. The first accessory is the hand holding all of the gold batarangs. For the most part, it's sculpted good, but it definitely lacks in the paint, especially between the fingertips. You can't see the rest of the sculpted batarang, and then it gets very blotchy with the paint. Now, in looking at the movie, this to me comes from the end scene when he's fighting Ra's al Ghul on the train. It looks like he's going to stab him with batarangs, and he throws the batarangs. You can kind of recreate that. The thing is that it looks like in the movie he's only got 2. There's 3 sculpted here, or you just leave it as he's throwing 3 batarangs. You don't have to think about it too much. In either case, the batarang should be kind of more down like Wolverine claws instead of up. It just kind of looks weird. Then you have this hand, which I thought it was another punching hand for some reason, but it's holding the bat bomb. It's not painted, and that again, in terms of a collector's line, to not have a painted accessory in the hand, it's nicely sculpted in there, but it's not painted. Where is the paint? Why is it not painted? Anything to differentiate it from the black gloved hand of Batman. It's a gadget. Of course, it's going to be somewhat of a different color. Then you have the Batarang, which I get it. It has to be a certain size apparently, but it's entirely too big, especially when you look at the other Batarangs that are sculpted into the hand. If only he came with 3 Batarangs that were the size of the ones in his hand. If only. Now, the one good thing is that he definitely comes with a hand that can hold said Batarang. Maybe he's whipping Batarangs at lights while he's fighting a bunch of people within a shipping container yard. Something like that. You can pose him out. He also comes with his gold gas gun, grapnel gun. What would have been a nice touch is if perhaps this folded up, or you could have just attached this somewhere to his belt. That would have just been a nice little weapon storage aspect to this Batman. But again, with the appropriate hands, with the posability, yeah, you can do all the crazy poses like he's zipping off between all the different rooftops. Or you can give him a flight stand and really get the character into some wild posing. So that coupled with the bendy wire cape, sure, he definitely does look cool. In looking at the actual figure himself, like I said, I am one of those people where I would look at this immediately and go, that's definitely the costume from Batman Begins. There are certain aspects without looking it up that I went, that looks a little bit odd. If you look at the cowl, now the big thing from the movie was that he still really couldn't turn his head. The sculpt is a reuse of the last Dark Knight trilogy head portrait. So it's kind of I wish they would have maybe put 2 head portraits in, maybe be able to swap the cowls. But in either case, you do get plenty of rotation and movement out of the head, because if you didn't have that momentum, that movement, we all know what we would be saying then. Oh, you can't move the head. Oh, it's a statue. So I get why they did it, but options would have been definitely preferable, because to me, the head portrait definitely looks like the later sequels for the heads. Now, in the rest of the costume, this is stuff that I had to look up. I don't remember those little triangles right there for the cape. Those are definitely there. The rest of the body, I feel like they took certain liberties here and there. The boots, from what I can tell, because when you're watching a movie, you don't really see a lot of the aspects of the costume. That's where the toys kind of bring it more to life. I think they got the gauntlets right. And the one thing that I definitely remembered without having to look it up was that it always looked like he was wearing surgical type gloves. They were very just clean. This new figure definitely has a lot of texture to it, and it's definitely that added McFarlane texture. Is it a deal breaker? No, but when you have a collector's line, that is something that you look for. You want to see a little bit more accuracy. The gloves aside, I like the belts, the armor padding, everything else. For the most part, I think that's pretty correct. On the back, I really couldn't tell you, because we don't see the back of the Batsuit. Some of you Batsuit making peoples out there, maybe you know, if anybody, but other than that, I think the shoulder pads, maybe some aspects with how they kind of connect. Sure, that might be kind of off, but it's definitely the Batman Begins suit. The bendy wire cape is very cool. Again, it's very billowy. It brings the character more to life. You can pose him out in all those dramatic superhero looks. When you have the head all the way down, it kind of mimics the Batman Begins head just a little bit better, just FYI. But still, it's incorrect. You know it's incorrect. I know it's incorrect. Does it take away from the fact that this is still a pretty cool figure? Is it well articulated? Is it that McFarlane articulation? Yeah, most definitely. He still looks good, but as we're all going to agree as we're watching this, accuracy is always preferred. And again, talking about the articulation with double jointed elbows, and you do have a little bit better ab crunch than most. Then you got the waist down to his utility belt and the legs and everything else. But again, in totality with the articulation, it still makes for a fun action figure. This is one of those toys where I go, wow, it's 2025. We're still getting Batman Begins figures. I remember way back when, before those internet days, when you had magazines and they released the toys, and that's how you got your first look at Christian Bale and the Scarecrow and everything else. So yeah, it's a fun Batman. And for the most part, so is this Batman, because it's the exact same figure. And like I said, Target, gold label, all that jazz. But Now he is a demon nightmare Batman, and it's going to have the exact same articulation. It's going to have the exact same accessories, except this time around with the Bataranged hand, this is painted a little bit better. So when you're in the store, if you get to go through a few of them with the regular Batman Begins, get yourself a well-painted Batarang hand, because this figure, when looking at this character up close, and then you think about the movie, I loved that scene. I loved Batman Begins, again, just as a standalone. If they never continued it, it would have been fantastic. But I like the added line work, the details, everything else that they have done here. It's different from the movie in some ways. Again, you don't get a great look at the figure, and Hot Toys did this look for this character some years ago. And to now look at it for McFarlane Toys, it's probably what they're kind of saying, hey, this is what you have to make if you do this Demon Nightmare Batman, which I'm really not complaining about, although I would have liked to have seen more of that goo that kind of oozes out of his mouth as he's talking. That's something that really resonated with me. I loved that scene, but that was something when Crane is just like freaking out because he's high off his own Scarecrow toxin. All the different lines for the ears, the pointiness, everything is cool. And yes, the rest of the costume is supposed to be disheveled, kind of like Tar, which they definitely didn't do. So it's really only the head portraits. But for the rest of the body, in conjunction with the paint that they put on the head, it matches all the way down. But just keep this in mind, because you probably already guessed it, the paint is only on the front of the figure. So there you go. The cape is not disheveled, nothing like that. This is that perfect sort of exclusive gold label. It's not detrimental to your collection if you don't get it, but it is fun to have this if you are a huge Batman Begins collector, because you know exactly what this is from. Again, like I said, all the articulation is there. This could stand in for a number of different things. Maybe during Halloween, maybe you want a scary looking Batman. It's kind of a Elseworlds vampire Batman in some way if they were doing it like in movie form. So you kind of have that going for you. In all the articulated poses you could achieve, again, with the billowing cape, the bendy wire, give him a flight stand, yada yada. But like I said, and hearkening back to what we just talked about with the first Christian Bale Batman, is that accuracy is everything. So a little bit more goes a long way. Even if you tattered the cape up a little bit, that would have been fantastic to see. And so now we're left with Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. And this is my ideal look of the Scarecrow from the Batman Begins universe. I thought that was terrifying when he initially asked Falcone, do you want to see my mask? And then when he faces Batman, he's got the suit. And then when they're dumping stuff in the water and he's just gassed Rachel and everything else, it's fun. That's a cool suited look for Jonathan Crane, and he only comes with a pair of extra hands, which is just like, okay, thanks. The figure itself is pretty cool. Now it's going to reuse the same Scarecrow masked head from the Batman Begins wave, and it's seemingly on a new suited body, or perhaps a mishmash of suited body parts to create a new body. In either case, I think it looks pretty cool overall. The mask does work with this body, but I wish they would have painted it more, a little bit better, maybe put some browns to it, something like that to just add to it. Because again, as we've been kind of talking about with all three figures, they're kind of lackluster in these paint defining elements. And this was kind of funny, and I've seen people commenting when I initially posted the teaser video. He looked a lot chubbier in the packaging. He's very... we'll say there's not much going on in the midsection. And when he was packaged, the plastic was kind of pushing the plastic of the suit together, which kind of gave him more of a fluffed up look where, no, he's still pretty thin. It's very deceptive when it was in the packaging. There's really not much going on in the midsection. He can kind of crunch back, but not crunch forward. The arms will go out. He does have bicep. He's got double jointed elbows, the hands, everything else. Again, this is a suited body. This is the Scarecrow just kind of standing there. He does have the outstretched hand like he's going to gas you. So at least he's got that. But see, that's where an attachment piece really would have been cool. Like a cloud of fear toxin. That would have been so cool. that really amplifies a figure that, again, is otherwise just a suited body with a Scarecrow mask, and he's got some wild bell-bottom pants going on here. Now, it does allow for the feet to rock a whole heck of a lot more, but I'm telling you, this Scarecrow, he's definitely going disco dancing, that's for sure. He does have some pinstripe elements amidst the pants. Overall, the sculpted details, he has a little bit of wash on the shoulders to the arms to kind of dirty him up a little bit. And this is one of those head portraits I can't really get off. I didn't try too hard, but perhaps you'll have better luck. The fun part is that he does look good with this Batman Begins Batman, which is always a plus. And he looks great with the Demon Nightmare Batman as well. So you can kind of have fun with photography. I just wish the Demon Nightmare Batman had more of those hands to kind of choke Crane out like he's doing in the movie. When you want to look at all of the figures put together, like I said, scale-wise, from Demon to Christian Bale, yeah, I think Scarecrow definitely scales nicely with these Batmen. From this new Batman Begins Batman to then the prior release, The Dark Knight Batman, you can definitely see the difference. Of course, this is obviously the Batman Begins suit. They're very similar. There's some odd-end changes, but overall, as I'll reiterate, I wish this new Batman Begins figure had its own cowl, its own mask, its own thing going on. And then to compare Scarecrow to all the other suited bodies that I have in my McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse collection, through and through, I would say, yes, this is seemingly a new suited body. Wouldn't mind seeing it for other characters, perhaps in the future. Let's get Black Mask. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. And in looking at the scalature between Morgan Freeman and this new Batman Begins Batman, that totally works as well. So those will go together nicely. And in the strictest sense of the multiverse, some what ifs for you. What if Chris O'Donnell was the Robin to Christian Bale's Batman? That would have been pretty awesome. They go together actually pretty darn nicely. And then the ultimate Elseworlds finest team up of Christian Bale Batman and Christopher Reeve Superman. And I would say, oddly enough, they do look good together. I like the more simplistic look for Superman, but definitely works with this Batman. So that's going to wrap it up for my exclusive reveal of 3 upcoming brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures for Batman Begins. And I want to say a thank you to McFarlane Toys for sending these out and having me do the reveals. This was a lot of fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. But do keep in mind, if you don't like these figures, you don't have to get them. Buy what you like. There will always be more. It's the age of too much good stuff. Don't get them because you feel you have to. Buy what you like and have fun collecting. That's the most important thing. So you've heard my thoughts, and until the next one, I'll leave you guys with it. Adios.